Hey guys, welcome back to another high Capa video. This is the second part of my final LA Capa Customs JungleCat build. So in part one to this video, and I will stick a link down here, we built up this lower and we went through all the parts which I'm using in there. And in part two, we are going to be going through this little bunch of parts here. Now, some of them you're going to be looking at and going, he's got 4.3 barrel there, what's going on? Just stick with me. We have got some explanation. I'm not actually using the 4.3 barrel. I'm going to be using the hop unit, and there are some other kind of part reusages which we'll go through as we go. So let's move these out of the way a little bit, and let's start right at the back of the slide here. And with that, that's going to be the blowback housing. So we'll get this opened up. Brand new CowCow blowback housing and screw there. Now, with the blowback housing, I do like the BO2 models. Now that is the one which is referred to as the piston head. I have had great success using these in the past, so I intend to continue using these going forwards. Each to his own really. With high Capas, you kind of use the parts that you have the best results from. I personally have the best results from these piston head versions, so I intend on using that. Obviously I didn't have the right Allen key first time round there, so we'll just get that in there. Crank that off. So this is a screw that you don't really want to be loose. Ta-da! There it comes. And we'll get that out of there. There we go. So we're going to drop that housing there. We're going to pop that back in there. In fact, what I think we might do is we might just locate that back into here. Just provide a little bit of guidance as it goes in. There we go. And we'll screw that back together. Hopefully it will take. I have done a few of these in the past and they've worked exceptionally well, and this is going to be the exception, which isn't going to work well for me. You little bugger. Let's just pop that together. Stick that on there. It's been so long since I've done one of these. And then we'll pop that. I think it's because that's... yeah, that kind of needs to get into the middle of that. So I call that a friendly bit of persuasion. There we go. It's in. So that's just needed a good push down into the middle. The screw is a little bit off, but the screw should even itself up as we push it down. Oh yeah, that's tight. There we go. And then as it gets to the bottom, it will even out. And that just gives me my little bit of room that I need to get you on there. Yeah, there we go. So that's now gone in, and as that pulls down, that's going to pull down on that piston head and level it up. So it's a very, very nice tight fit as we go. Yep. And with it being a piston head, you can just tweak it a little bit more. There we go. Spot on. So piston head is on. Hairy moment to start with there, guys. Next one is a nozzle. This is one of the elite nozzles. I managed to get my hands on some of these. Carl from High Capa Hub had a little stash of them. I bought these up kind of quick because I do like them. Again, I have really good results using these. Just put a lick of oil on my thumb there. Put that around the inside of that nozzle. And then we'll get that into place on there. So it is a tight fit on these, but it does fit well. And then we can compression test fit that by pulling it out a little bit. And you put your thumb over there and blow down the end. Yep, that is a full seal. And that will just kind of ease up a little bit. It's not too bad, to be fair. So just needs a little bit of backwards forwards motion, and she'll be right. So the next step on our stop when I get my teeth in, is going to be nozzle return spring. Now this is in a little baggie ready to go. This is an AIP 140% spring. I swear by these things, they are absolutely golden. And I do have some AIP black grip screws in there which aren't going to be used. They're going to go onto the next build to be announced. So slide that 140 in there, nice fit, just straight in. Bump. So let's get the cat. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drop, when I've done throwing it about, drop that rear sight in. Wow, I'm butterfingers tonight, I really am. So we're going to get that slide into place. Slide? It's not a slide, it's a sight. Get that rear sight into place. And then we're going to slide this up and in. So I have test fitted this already, so I do know it's going to go in. Clearly, I didn't think to test fit my piston head though and get that done in advance for you, so apologies for that. And I also don't have the right size Allen key for this screw in the back of the BBU, so let's get that in. So I'm not as keen on BBU fitment on the 5.1s because on the 4.3s you have that top screw which goes in and it kind of just holds it, and on these you don't have that, which I don't like. It's kind of a free float design. I'm not happy about that. So that screw's just gone straight in nice and easy, so I'm just going to really crank that in, but not too hard though that I'm kind of taking paint off. Just nip tight. It's all aluminium, so it's going to kind of mesh and mold together. And then we've got this sight on top, and I'll just sit that down and we'll spin that in with a fairly large flat head there as well. I'm not sure how I feel about rear sights on the 5.1s. On my gold match I've got one of the AIPs. I'm not really bothered about having adjustable. I might actually end up just getting a blank for this to go at the back if I can find one, a black one or something like that. So nozzles in. Oh, she's tight. Oh yeah, it's really tight. So that's going to need a little bit of work. I'm wondering if that's because it's too tight in there somewhere. But that's something I can fix off camera when we're done with this, and we'll look at another point. So on with the next. We're going to work towards the front of the pistol now, so we'll start with this outer barrel. I have gone for the 5KU Tornado. Now, annoyingly, when I ordered this, it said it had a 12mm clockwise thread to 14. No, nothing 14 about it. It was just a 12mm clockwise. So I also ordered the 12mm adapter to go with it, and it didn't fit. However, this Ace-Tech adapter just here fits, which is 11mm. So there is a spec inconsistency there with these. Not too happy about that. I haven't test fitted this into here yet, so let's just slide that in. I'd hope that it butters up quite nicely. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? Okay, so let's start putting this baby together. Now, next step of this journey is going to be the inner barrel. So this is off a 4.3. This is off the Frankenstein. So I've actually had a bit of a move around. I've put a 5.1 barrel into the Franken build. So this was going, and this is the kind of the stock setup out of the Franken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this 4.3 length barrel, because I never intended on running this with a 5.1 barrel anyway. I'm going to run it with a longer barrel. But what we can do then is we can whip this out. Look at that. I do not like all that janky grease on there. TM hot rubbers, do like them. I will keep that to one side, but that is gone. Bin it. So that probably needs a bit of a wipe out in there. I don't actually have any cloths to hand, so I'll just finger wipe it out. I mean, there's a bit of oil. I don't mind the oil being there, but kind of not the end of the world. Don't waste too much time, Steve-o. Right, barrel. So this is the stock barrel out of my AAP. It's a 129mm barrel, and it has this O-ring on the end, and the O-ring on the end is pretty key, because that's going to stabilize inside my thread adapter or my outer barrel, whichever one fits best. So this is a DP 70 degree hot rubber. I've not actually used this in anything yet, but you can't run exactly the same setup in every single gun that you have, otherwise they'd all be the same. So that's the DP in there. That's ready to go together. And we're going to drop that into there, like that. Hop arm stayed attached onto there, so that's kind of cool. It's obviously not going to fit. Let's just move that to there. So hop arm in. If that wasn't banging against it, wouldn't it? So remove the hop arm in. And then we'll just hold that in place while we bring the other part of the clamshell up. What am I doing? I've never done a hot rubber before. There we go. Airsoft noob breaks pistol. You can see it now. Right, so that's the inner barrel installed. Now, again, I'm in two minds of whether to start to PTFE these things. I used to PTFE them all the time, and then I kind of went through a phase of putting less on, and then I went more, and then it makes these things kind of bulge in the middle, and I don't know that it's actually helping. So I'm going to try this one without. Again, you know, it's an experimental build. It's never going to be just me and this pistol at the field. So we're going to try some new things. So this is just a DP, what I'll call bare backing straight onto the booking. The booking straight onto the barrel. So we'll just tighten that up, both sides. Now I do know that these DP70s are what Mike used to do in some of his builds. Mike from Elite Shooting Centre, so I'm pretty excited to see what they can do. If they're good enough for Mike and his builds, they're definitely good enough for me, and that is absolutely perfectly down the middle. So we'll turn the hop off, that's ready to put together now, and we'll pop that down here. Now with this 5KU Tornado barrel, I'm quite impressed with this. However, there is some kind of manufacturing left over there. If I was being super careful, I might want to get a file like this and just kind of take off those rough edges. Which has helped immensely. Quick blow down there, don't want the filings to end up in the middle of my pistol, because that will just wear everything out super fast, won't it? And then, oh, this is a tight fit. So that goes in there. That is tight. I like that. Bit of a push it in. No? How's it going? Oh, you just have to force the bastard. Cool. Well, that's in. That's not going to come out easily. Well, it's really locked in. Look at that. So there's a little bit of wobble there, but we can fix that by just kind of shimming this out into the thread adapter here. So, outer barrel, inner barrel combo has been put together. I'm reasonably happy that that's kind of straight. So let's install that. Can we see how we're looking now? Ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty. So, next on the list is going to be recoil setup. So as I've said, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for a 120 spring, which I already had knocking about. I'm just going to move some of this swarf out of the way. And then for short stroke, I've got the Froggos ready to go. This is a soft and a medium hard Froggo setup. So that is blue is super soft, which is a bit too soft for me. Then it goes purple, which is your kind of your soft, which are slightly firmer than CowCow soft, and then kind of medium hard, not being too hard. And then we have an AIP guide rod, and the reason I've gone for AIP is because it was black and it was cheap. I do like the steel guide rods that AM do, but they are expensive and they are quite heavy as well. So we're going to go with the cheap and cheerful AIP one, and then in a couple of months we'll probably cry because this one will break. We're not going to screw it together straight away though, because I know what 5.1s are like trying to get these bloody things on. So we'll load that up. I want kind of the firmer one at the front, I think. So we'll pop a frog one here. Gosh, these are so tight as well. What a lovely fit. And we'll alternate them so it looks pretty when you take it off. 3, 4. Get it so far down. I'm going to need to get my little buffer set of Allen keys in a minute. Just reach for those now. So then the next step in this is going to be to kind of semi-mangle this together and in all at once. I'm not very good at doing it where you leave the BBU out. So I'm going to do this. I don't think I've done it this way on camera before. So anyone who's watching and has an absolute fit at me, I do apologise in advance. It's what I do, it works for me. So what we'll do is we'll get this and we'll put the 120 spring in there. We will just click that half in. Slide it down. Then we'll get an Allen key, which we'll put through there. You might be looking at me like, what the flip are you doing, Steve-O? But this is a good technique, it really is. So what we'll do then is we'll unscrew. And we're freestyling. And then I didn't actually think that I would have to do this on camera. So I've clearly gotten hold of the wrong end of it. Now if I let go of it, it's going to go flying across the room. So I'm pretty keen not to do that, but I do need to kind of flip it over, which is going to prove exceptionally difficult. So I'm going to just release that tension and I'll re-put it together. So I'm trying not to warp that spring in the process, which I've just kind of started doing by pushing down on it like that. So I kind of want to hold it this way in as I go. Oh my gosh. That's a fucking monster, really is. So, that might do it. That should do it. Might be able to manhandle it in from here. So we'll just, the beauty of doing it this way as well is I can kind of just guide it in a little bit. Providing it doesn't go flying off in every direction. Now I have test fitted this into here. I do know it does fit, but I didn't test it under tension. Now here's the issue now. Got to keep that with it. Oh, right. Get the remaining part of that guide rod. Get it down that middle. Get that bugger screwing in. Now, the easy way of doing this now would be to swap hands and pull it forwards like that. And then we can finish screwing off. Now, at this point, you could thread lock it. I'm not going to thread lock it at this point, and that's because I don't actually know that it works yet, but I will do at some point. Now, the other set of Allen keys now is just to offer that a little bit of tightness on there. can just nip this off. And then when I'm quite happy that the inner barrel, outer barrel, everything is kind of cushy, then at that point then I'll thread lock. Slide that out, just removes a little bit of tension from it. Obviously I've got to sort that nozzle setup out as well. So there we go. That's now together. So it's not an easy build on that. I'm not used to doing the 5.1s. I do prefer the 4.3s where you can just throw everything in at once. Yes, I could use a 4.3 guide rod plug, but it doesn't look as good. It doesn't go all the way to the end. So next step, let's put the bugger together, shall we? I know I've still got a few little finishing bits to do, so let's cock that. Slide this on. This is the first time it's all been together as one ever. So huge shout out for this. There we go. That goes in there. That's in there. Oh my. Drop that in there. That looks the part. Look at that. I like that. It's not too heavy. It's got a really nice clack as it goes backwards and forwards as well. So next step, let's get this. Just see how far down it goes. So you can just see there, it's pretty nice. So what we'll do is we'll O-ring that sucker up. After we've lubed the O-ring, or what we'll do is we'll lube my finger. And we'll lube the O-ring. And then we'll try not to put a lubey finger down this inner barrel. Okay. And then that just helps in securing that on that. And then it's tight all the way in. Oh yeah, I like that. Final one is going to be the front sight. So the front sight, I'm going to swap that out to a green fibre. And that will just slide in there. And that's going to need a little bit of super glue, which I was already kind of semi-aware of. There we go. So, what do we think? The JungleCat is pretty much built. Are there bits I could improve on? Probably. Inner barrel will probably be the first one. Probably blank that off. Might get an AIP front sight on here as well, just so I've got something a bit nicer I can aim down sight at. But generally speaking, I like this. It's finished really nicely. Let me know what you think in that comment section. Please do hit the like button on this video. I love building these things, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching me build it as well. And finally, if you're not already, please do hit that sub button. It does go a long way, and you will also be able to join me for more weekly high Capa and Airsoft related content. Thank you very much, guys. Can't wait to get this thing out in the field. The nozzle seems to have sorted itself out now. So yeah, gonna go and get some field testing done with it in the next week or so. Catch you in the next one.